Okay, what I'm going to do now is give you a quick run through rather, of Competition Manager. So first I'm going to run the setup program and accept all the defaults. And it's set up. We have an icon on our desktop. Okay, I'm going to run that. Alright, this is the main menu. Okay, if you go to Help About, you can see where the database is, and this is what you should back up. Okay. First thing you have to do if it's a brand new system is you need to make sure you have at least one competition and a couple of photographers. Okay, so let's enter a competition first. All right, we'll call it First Competition, and we'll tell it that we want it to be honors, which means that it's going to pick 30% for honors, and that's configurable. Okay, and we'll put in today's date, 16/09. Okay. So there's our competition. Now I'm going to enter 3 photographers. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. Go to Maintain Photographers. All right, we're going to enter Ansel Adams, and he is a member, and he is a photographer. Now, both member and photographer have to be yes in order to be able to compete in a competition. Okay, and we'll put Bob Baker. Oops. Bob Baker, and he is a member and a photographer. And lastly, we'll have Charlie Chaplin, and he is a member and a photographer. Okay, great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to compete. We're going to go to Compete, enter photographs. Okay. Now, there's a few things here. Right now, we're just going to have all digital entries, but you can have 3 different media, and that's actually configurable. You can have a different number of judges on a particular competition. And there's also a configuration item for the maximum number of judges. For example, we never have more than 3 judges. So let's say that we can never have more than 3 judges, but tonight we only have 2. Okay? And let's make the preview seconds 5 is the default. It's configurable. Let's make it shorter though, so that we can zip through this little demonstration. And we'll make it say 2. Okay? So it'll zip through the images fast. All right. And then what we'll do is we need to enter some pictures. So I'm going to load this photos directory that's right on the desktop. Here it is. All right. And here's the pictures. Okay? Now, this is optimized to enter things rather quickly. So for example, if we sort by title, we see that the way that these pictures are named, the person's name is in the beginning. Okay? So if we put Ansel here, notice they all say Ansel, then we can go to Bob. All right, and then we can go down to Charlie. Okay, so that was a quick way to enter. All right, and then here we can put nature, but here's pictorial. This isn't quite as quick, of course. This is photojournalism because we're not sorting by that. Nature, pictorial, PJ, and PJ and nature, pictorial, PJ. All right, so here we go. Now it's all right. Now we'll close this. If the little OK is green there, that means that everything's ready. And we can quit this. And then what happens is 2 things. One is it creates a folder on the desktop. It enters all the pictures in there. And it appends the name of the photographer and the category in front of the title. Okay? And also it puts the pictures in the appropriate tabs here. Okay? So now what we'll do is, let's just do the nature category. And by the way, these pictures, well, hopefully they will actually be nature pictures. Okay. Now you can go ahead and do show for preview right now, and that will actually do 3 things, a couple of which can be done manually. It'll randomize the pictures and assign a sequence. It'll hide the photographer in the title, and then it will actually show the preview. So I'm going to do those other steps manually so you can see. Okay, notice that hides it. That way, if this is on a projector, people can't see that information. And here's randomized sequence. Okay, so if we look now, we can see that it randomized it. And you can do that any number of times. It'll just randomize them again. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and show for preview. Now it's going to do only, by the way, let me just show you right here. You can pick pictures like that. I'm doing shift-click, just like Explorer, and then what would happen is it would just offer to preview just those 4 pictures. But we're going to preview all 10. All right? And it's going to zip through them quickly because I told it I only wanted to see 2 seconds. In our club, we seem to be happy with 5 seconds. So it goes through the pictures. And you get the idea. I'm going to press escape. Now let's show them all for judging. Now, when it shows them for judging, first it shows them full screen, and then when you click, another screen comes up with it smaller where you can enter in your score. All right? Now, there's only 2 judges tonight, so let's say one does a 6 and one does a 7, so that's 13. I think, yeah, 13. All right, and we'll press OK. Now, if we press escape now, I just want you to see, look what it actually entered. It entered 19.5. Okay? And the reason why is because it always calculates the score as though it was the maximum, so that on another competition, if there were 3 judges, we don't want those pictures to be weighted more because their score is higher. Okay? So this way it keeps everything even through the competition year. Okay? So let's go ahead and do another judge, and I'll show you another important thing that it does. This time we'll do the 9 selected. And now let's say that tonight one of the judges is also, let's say both judges are also members of the club, and they submitted their own pictures. So when that happens in our club, you give the photographer gives his own picture a 0. So let's say that the one judge gave it a 7, but the other judge didn't, gave it a 0. So you click with a 0. Okay. Now what that does, you'll see, is it essentially just multiplied that 7 times 3. Okay, as though once again to equalize it out to 3 photographers. All right. So let's quickly go through and do some more judging. 8 photographs. All right. Let's say this is a 12, and this is a 13. This is a 13. This is a 15. This is a 15. This is a 12. This is a 13. This is a 12. All right, so here's all of our scores. Okay. Now, in order to find out who won, notice, by the way, at the bottom it tells us there's 10 images, 3 are honors because that's 30%, and that's configurable too. Okay. Plus also how the rounding to do that is also configurable. If we click on Calculate Standings, we see that we're fortunate in that clearly there's 3 that won honors. Okay. But let's say that there's a tie. Okay, so let's monkey with these scores a little bit so that there would be a tie. So I'm going to make these 2 a 21 and this one here a 21. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this one that didn't win honors, I'll say none here. Okay, now if we calculate standings again, notice that these 3 turn blue because one of them can only get honors, but all 3 have a 21. So what we need to do is we need to pick the 3 of them and click Show for Tie Breaking. And what that does is it shows just the 3 pictures, and we can make these bigger by clicking on Grow or actually hitting the plus button, and we can make them as big as we want. Let's go for that, or we can, it'll wrap. See, let's just go for that. All right, and so the judge says, okay, well, let me see this one again. If you click on it, it'll go full screen. If you click on this, full screen. And the judge says, okay, well, we have to pick one that's an honor, so I'm going to pick this one. So right-click on it and choose Honors. Okay? And then we're done. Now that one has honors. You can click Calculate Standings again, and we're golden. We have our winners. Okay? And that's basically how a competition is run. Now we can also, by the way, do Show for Winners. So we'll pick the 3, and we'll say Competition Show for Winners. 3 photographs. All right. Now what it will do is it will show the pictures in the reverse order. So in other words, the lowest scores to the highest scores. It gives us the information that we can say. So we can say, Charlie Chaplin took the picture, Red Rock Cactus. It got a 21. Okay. Notice all that information is up there. And here we have Bob Baker took Shrooms, and it got a 22.5. And then Ansel Adams took Autumn Leave, and that got a 22.5. Okay. So that way it shows the winners. All right. Now the last thing is you want to post this on your website. Okay. So you do Report Standings, and it offers this name is configurable. put it on the desktop. All right, it created it. Now if we open this in a web browser, so Firefox should come up any second now. Here it is, but it went to, hang on 1 second. Okay, here we go. And here it is, and here's the standings. Okay, if you want to, go to our website, www.uppermarioncamera.org, and you can see another example of that with more pictures. Okay.